This is the part 2 training of the Adobe After Effects. I think we were done with the part 1 just a few minutes ago, and we're gonna do with the part 2 right now. So now let's just not waste much of our time actually. Maybe we should just go through this effects. But before we go through that, you need to have the basic understanding of some of the tools here. In your motion graphics, you're gonna require mostly motion blur, just to make sure the stuff looks so as realistic as possible, okay? And that's just have to enable motion blur. To enable 3D objects, you could just press this. And also for this is just for your adjustment layer to make sure that it can easily be adjusted and stuff like that. So, and this one is for turning your image into a vector image, okay? Like in the fact that you know what we call vector, that means even if the stuff is being reduced to a smaller size, it does not affect the image quality, or even increase, does not affect the image quality. So maybe let's say this vector stuff is gonna be for you most of the while, and you can always press this, you know, to try and parent it to a particular object, okay, that in which it follows the same step as that particular object. I'm mostly gonna be using the peak weight to put it that way, but maybe when I'm talking about motion tracking After Effects, you're gonna get the angle of what we're trying to talk about. So let's not talk much about that anyway. So I'm actually stressed about not telling you how to import files, okay? Let's press option, import, and you can press file. You can actually import a lot of files, okay? You know, right here I think I've got a lot of packs, After Effects packs, After Effects motion pack setups. Sorry, this is it. Okay, I can actually have a lot of packs right here. You can import anything from documents. Look at me, I'm not gonna import this kind of documents, it's not even showing. I can import MS Word documents, but I think I could try and import some videos, okay, just like this one. I think I could import this particular video, okay? So that's if I want to import a video into After Effects. I can import any kind of files, okay? You could also import formal projects into After Effects. Look at all this project. This is a whole huge project. I wouldn't want to disturb my After Effects files right now. So let me say I'm not gonna import anything for now, but like right now I think you've got used to knowing what to import. You can import Photoshop files, Illustrator files, Cinema 4D files, Maya files, 3D files, and everything. Just make sure you've got a good, well-leveled knowledge about 3D. I think we're gonna be dealing with that very soon. So now I'm wondering what are these tools actually meaning, okay? With these tools, you can actually do a lot of stuff, or move your composition left or right, or anywhere you want to move it to. This one, just take a little bit of checking out and scrolling over your composition just to see how perfect it is, okay? So just take the zoom tool. That's what we call the zoom tool. This is called the zoom tool, just to, you know, to check out, to zoom into your composition. That's the best way to put it. And also your rotation tool is very good. You're mostly going to be using to rotate objects there, but let me just press Ctrl Z, okay? Ctrl Z, okay, just to make sure that you understand what I just pressed right now. Ctrl Z is meant for undo, so I'm just gonna undo that. And also we're gonna create a new camera. I want to test the camera tool in front of you, so we're gonna enable depth of field, and gonna put this to 35 millimeters and press OK. Yeah, so for you to be able to manipulate this camera very well, I think it's a 3D camera track, so we're gonna make this 3D. So once you make this 3D, a lot of stuff that could happen once you make this 3D. Okay, I'm gonna show you some of those stuff right here. Okay, and it's gonna take quite a lot of minutes actually, but it's gonna be worth it. So I'm very sure that when we're talking with 3D, you actually know a lot of stuff about 3D. The fact that when you can use your mouse scroll wheel, let me talk about the mouse for a moment. You can use your mouse scroll wheel to try and zoom into your composition, both in and further back into your composition. And when you click the scroll wheel down and drag it, you can drag your composition. Same thing as some of the tools here. So I'm going to be using this mostly for the, you understand what I'm trying to talk about. I'm not trying to move it, okay? I hope you know that we can use the left and the right mouse click to move it as you can drag it. Just press Ctrl Z to undo any kind of movement. Okay, so I think this is perfect. So we're gonna be making sure that we use the 3D camera tool. But how are we gonna know that we're using the 3D camera tool? Today I'm gonna change it to, I think, 2 views. I wouldn't want the horizontal, or would you want the vertical? Okay, this is not good. Okay, let's make it of the horizontal. And as you can see, we've got the camera right here, and we're gonna be using the active camera, custom view 1. So this shows us how the camera is showing us this, okay? This is from the top and this is from the camera. So what are we gonna do? The fact that when you click this camera tool up here, you could actually do a lot of stuff from the camera. Okay, look, we are moving everything right and right. Look at the camera too. The other stuff we could actually do with the camera too. Okay, coming. I think I should get this. So technically this means that whatever we do right here appears right here. So the 3D camera tool is mostly used for us, you know, with a lot of stuff can actually be done on 3D camera tool, and it's going to affect your view. So as you can see, this is the edit I'm trying to move it. I think this camera is showing us over the top of the camera. I think if I press back, okay, active camera, camera 1. But let's just say this is showing me from the top, okay? And actually anything I manipulate here actually surfaces right here. So that's how the camera tool is actually connected. So let's press backspace to delete the camera, and let's move back to our active camera, okay? And let's change the view back to one view. Hopefully when we're dealing with cameras, we'll mention a lot of stuff you need to know about cameras and how to use them for logo animations and stuff like that. I hope that's a better understanding of that. So now we talk about the camera tool. Just pan behind tool is a very good tool for adjusting your anchor point position. What I mean by anchor point position is just look up. Okay, we've got a rectangle right there, and I'm changing it to that. So when you press the pan behind tool, we could just move it just into the center. I think it's actually centered already. If the stuff is right down here, you're gonna have to center it here. The reason why you're gonna be adjusting anchor point most of the time is the fact that when you put the anchor point right here, okay, and take your rotation tool and you press it right here and you start rotating, it's gonna rotate over the space. This looks like unseemly bad, like it's a very bad stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna take the pen behind tool and kind of take my anchor point position and place it right here. I think my hand is not that perfect actually. So this is it. So we're gonna move it, and as you see, it's gonna rotate in the right way. So you're gonna have to be very careful of this anchor tool, because it can actually do some errors in your work if it's not been placed in the best position. And you could always double tap on the pan behind tool to adjust the anchor point to the best position in which it's meant to be. So let's just delete this and pretend we never thought this. But okay, you're gonna be needing it most of the time. So you can actually draw a rectangle or an ellipse or anyone you want to draw. So let's go with the ellipse. Now to draw a perfect ellipse or perfect rectangle and square, just click on Alt and Shift. As you can see, that's a pretty nice one. It's better than the dwarfed one in which we would have drawn if we didn't press Alt and Shift. So I'm gonna leave it down and remove my hand from Alt and Shift, and we get a perfect circle. Then I'll use the pan behind tool, okay, in which the anchor point has been adjusted already. So let's just say that's what's bad. So I'm sorry, I don't want to adjust the solid. So actually, as you can see, we have actually made use of the ellipse tool and the pan behind tool, and they look pretty comprehensive to grab. So this is the tool, the shape. Actually, look at the shape. Now one thing I want to teach about in shapes is the fact that you could actually make two shapes to be together as one. Look at this. It's not creating the shape layer too. But if we said we are not clicking on the shape layer tool, see, we're not clicking on it, and we decide to make a shape just like this, it's gonna make a shape layer tool. But if we click on shape layer 1 and we draw a shape, it's gonna make it in shape layer 1, so that anything we make in shape layer 1, such as the change in position, is gonna happen to both of them at the same time. So maybe it's gonna be mostly useful for your animation, so you won't be stressing yourself most of the time. So let's just pretend that shape layer 2 never came into place. So this is shape layer 1, okay, and I think you've got the pretty hang of that. So let's just do shape layer 1. Now let's go to the pen tool. We can just do a lot with the pen tool, from draw shapes to animate parts for objects to work and stuff like that. And as you can see, it looks pretty interesting to use, okay, and that's pretty good. Look at it. Animate object's gonna go to this place, go like this, and go like this, and go like this. Yeah, and also you could actually create text with After Effects. Let's say, let's create a text called Pyrochure scales, sorry, I'm gonna put some stuff in our capital letter. I think I forgot to. And Pyrochure skills training, and as you can see, that's pretty good and pretty great. Okay, and before we end the series, I'm gonna give you a little bit of trick to take. So we just believe that I think After Effects is gonna be simpler than you ever thought. So with the brush tool, this is the brush tool. Okay, you actually do a lot of stuff with the brush tool. You're gonna have to move to the layer position. So you're gonna move this to the layer position and click on the brush tool, and this is the brush tool. You can do a lot of stuff with the brush tool. Like, I don't know why this is having problem with me. So actually, the brush tool can be used to paint. I don't know why my own is having fault anyway. The brush tool can be used to paint. As you can see, you can adjust the brush tool right here. The pixel, the stamp, everything about the brush, diameter of the brush, and any kind of brush you wish to put into the picture. So that's what the brush tool does. And for this, the clone stamp tool. Now the clone stamp tool is mostly going to be used mostly for adjusting stuff in videos that are not actually correct. Okay, to make everything to blend with the original, you're going to use mostly that clone stamp tool for that. It's also in Photoshop, but it's mostly in the content aware tool, which I'm very sure you're kind of familiar with already. Because if you have not actually have a little bit of knowledge with Photoshop, you're gonna need a little bit of knowledge. Okay, but well, knowledge does not much deals with After Effects in the first instance, but it's gonna be very useful to you later on. And this, as you know, is shaped like an eraser, and I'm very sure you know what it does. You know what the eraser tool does to stuff. And also, this is the Rotor Brush tool. Actually, it's one of the baddest tools that people really hate in Photoshop. Due to the fact that actually I'm supposed to demonstrate the Rotor tool, but maybe on another episode we will demonstrate how the Rotor tool actually is very bad. The fact that Rotor tool allows you, when you don't use green screen and you want to take a little bit of hue from the background and place yourself in the background and track it within a particular time, Rotor Brush tool is used for that. But for some reason, some people don't like it because of the time in which Rotor Brush tools take to adjust you to the current environment you want to be. Okay, so in all of that, Adobe Adobe software is actually they created Rotor Brush 2 for the After Effects CC 2020. So you can check it out. Rotor Brush 2 is a very good tool. That one is just actually machine learning, and it's actually a very good tool. So trust me, you're gonna want to work on it. And the puppet spin tool is gonna be mostly used in your character animation stuff. Okay, I think you should try and get the Adobe Character Animator, in which you can use your laptop camera to make some cool videos. As you open your mouth, as you wave your hand, it waves with you, so everything looks perfectly well. So let's say that's pretty much all for today's skills training tutorial. And please, if you love this skills tutorial and you want me to add anything, or I forgot something to add to it or stuff like that, you can actually go to the under the comment section below and comment, and let's see how far we can go to with this skills tutorial. And I hope it's well explanatory enough, because as you know, I'm just going to try his best to be as explanatory as we can. Okay, as possible. Okay, yeah, as best as okay, in the best way we can make this explanation very clear. And you can also press the graph editor. I think I didn't talk much on that. We're going to be using mostly the graph editor to slow down your keyframes and to make them fast, or to make them very slow, to make it the motion to look more realistic. And maybe we're going to discuss full range of stuff on that. So I think that's all. And to delete stuff like the composition, I can just press delete right here and delete. Okay, I think, is there anything else we have been missing? Probably not. And the effects and presets, a lot of effects and presets right here, and I'm going to be teaching you how to apply some of them. Okay, and how to be able to make some stuff without even applying effects. So let's see how far we can go. And snapping stuff, we're going to be using snapping mostly to make sure that your stuff, the shapes you create, are balanced with each other most of the time. I think that's what you're going to be doing most of the time, just to make sure your shapes are balanced. Let me take a little bit of snapping. This is a mask, sorry. Yeah, let me just make a mask. Now when you would an object, like look at this solid one, okay, and you click on the shape layer, it's going to create a mask. A mask actually covers your object most of the time. Look at it. It can actually make your objects, you see some motions and stuff, and you wonder how they pass through the walls or stuff like that. Most of them have been done using mask and stuff like that. So that's when you get to learn the concept of mask. The mask can be done in any kind of shape, from rectangle to circle to anything. Okay, so I think if I leave this just like this, it's gonna look like this. These are all masks, okay, and I can actually make them to move. Okay, look at this. I could adjust the mask parts and other stuff like that. So probably, yeah. So Windows, using a Windows, you could actually look at this. These are a set of tools right here, your preview or progress stuff. Whenever you click on anything here, it adds to the stuff right here. Okay, for example, if I click the brushes, you see the brushes appear right here or stuff like that. So you can actually check out your missing tables from this place and just press this down place to see how fun it is. Okay, you can see this is the project window and stuff like that, the up and over, all those whatever stuff this is. Okay, I'm not gonna be clicking on them anyway, so that's all about that. And yeah, so animation, you can actually mask your keyframes and make sure they all work with your keyframes. And the Mocha AE, I'm going to teach you how to track with that in this episode and stuff, so in some future episodes. And effects, mask, talk about mask shapes, stuff like that. Maybe we'll talk about that next episode. So let's see how far we can go. So that's all for today on Pyrochure skills tutorial for PC. Okay, that is for the After Effects training tutorial session. You can place comments and subscribe to this channel for more episodes, and click on the notification bell icon, and let's see how far we can go. So I think that's all for today, and please stay safe.